So UFC 321 just wrapped up, and Tom Aspinall versus Aspinall-Gane ends in a no contest. It's not the result anyone wanted, but I poked Aspinall at the end of round one. Aspinall said he couldn't open up the eye, couldn't continue, so we get no winner to find out who the best heavyweight is. But I wanted to come on here and give my thoughts on the main event. I'll talk a little bit about Dern and Janroba, not much. Umar versus Bautista, and Jon Jones and Alex Pereira saying that they're gonna fight each other. But let's talk about the main event first. Just a brutal way for a heavyweight title fight to go. You know, the last couple of years, we had the whole Ngannou situation with him, wanting out of the company, not getting the contract he wanted. So then we got a vacant title with Jon Jones versus Aspinall-Gane. Then Jones got injured for the Miocic fight. Miocic shouldn't have been fighting for a title anyways. Aspinall becomes interim champion. Then Jones versus Aspinall never happens. The heavyweight division has been facing so many setbacks the last couple of years, and it seems like this is not even like irregular anymore. It's just part of heavyweight. But it was a real eye poke. I'm seeing the narrative online that Tom wanted out. He quit. He knew he wasn't going to win. I don't think Tom quit in this fight. I think you can see the finger just right on the eyelid. Sure, he's closing the eye, but if you're going to press right into somebody's eyelid, it's going to cause an injury. And I don't think Tom wanted a way out. Now, what I will say is, if you look at the damage done, there was a lot of damage done, right? Aspinall-Gane was winning that first round without a doubt. He was executing his game plan to a T. He stuffed Aspinall's first takedown. I think that's the first time Tom's ever been stuffed in the UFC. He was moving his feet really well, which I thought Aspinall kind of struggled with the movement a little bit. He was landing his jabs that broke Aspinall's nose, or at least did a lot of damage. That's where all the blood came from. He's going to the body. He was landing his kicks. I thought we saw Aspinall look very human in this fight, right? Aspinall was knocking everyone out in a minute, knocked out Blades in a minute, knocked out Pavlovich in a minute. He looked like nobody could stop him, and Gane made him look very human. And it's hard to say who would have won the fight if it had continued, but I think Gane was in control. I think Gane probably would have won if it continued. But either way, it seems like the rematch is going to be next. Dana White said that it's unfortunate what happened, but they are going to book the rematch next. So I don't think it would happen on the ESPN deal. I don't think it'll happen November. Definitely not with Islam headlining. December, I don't think they're going to change with Merab and Pantoja. 2 title fights already. January seems to be Ilya. February seems to be Volk. My best guess is they put this fight back in March. They probably do a UK card in March. And it's a tough one for Volkov because he got the win over Almeida, but I don't think the winner of that fight, I don't think that fight in general looked that great, Volkov and Almeida, whereas I thought Gane looked very good against Aspinall. So Aspinall versus Gane, next order of business for heavyweight. And I don't know what they do with Volkov. Derek Lewis rematch. There's a couple ways you can go, but yeah, Aspinall versus Gane too. And I think it's a lot more of a 50-50 fight if the rematch happened. But kind of going on to the next topic at heavyweight, the big topic after Aspinall and Gane. Alex Pereira posted a video of him laughing at the eye poke and, Aspinall, I wouldn't say wanting out, but Aspinall taking the no contest. Jon Jones changed his Twitter profile picture to he already had a duck with the UFC championship belt, but it's got an eye patch on it. And he accepted Pereira's call out. He said, "Alex, I'd be down to bring the highest skill level to the White House. I appreciate the respect you showed. Let's dance." It seems like this is going to be on the White House card. I originally, after Pereira's knockout against Ankalaev, I was calling for Aspinall versus Poatan. I wanted to see Pereira go for a 3-division championship route. I wanted to see Aspinall get that super fight that he didn't get with Jon Jones. But after Aspinall versus Gane, I think Aspinall's got to get through Gane in the rematch first. And maybe John's right about a couple things in that this is the better legacy fight. Obviously, I'm not excusing him ducking Aspinall, but I do think he's right about Jones-Pereira being a bigger fight, a more legacy-defining fight. So I think they're going to put this on the White House card. Pereira, he's been talking about it too. Probably going to vacate the light heavyweight title, if I guess. And they'll probably do like Yuri versus Carlos Ulberg. And yeah, that seems like the order of heavyweight right now. Jones versus Pereira on the White House. Probably the main event. Unless Conor comes back, then maybe it's the co-main event. And then Aspinall versus Gane 2 in March. Now going on to the co-main event, I won't talk about it too much because it was a lackluster fight, right? Dern and Jandiroba. Good on Dern. She won. I picked Jandiroba in my predictions. I thought Jandiroba would take her to deep waters with the grappling and control her a bit longer, but Dern's striking edged it. I think it's a good win for Dern. I think it's who the UFC would want as champion, right? You can mark her looks and everything. Do I think she's the best in the division? Absolutely not. I think Weili knocks her out in about a round or two. I think I'd probably go Tatiana Suarez to beat her. Although I think Dern could maybe beat Suarez. But this is a good one for Mackenzie. Being in the UFC for this long, same with Jandiroba and finally getting that belt, it's got to be a good feeling. But like I said, I would do the Tatiana fight next if Weili beats Shevchenko. And if Weili loses Shevchenko and comes back down to 15, then you bet Mackenzie Dern versus Zhang Weili for the title. But I won't be on this fight for too long. Let's move to the next big fight on the card. Probably the last fight I'm going to talk about. Umar Nurmagomedov gets the win over Mario Bautista. Now, was it Umar's greatest win, greatest performance? Probably not. Did he look awful? No, he looked decent. In the first round, I thought he did a good job going to his takedowns. Controlled Bautista on the ground for a large part. Bautista nearly did get a submission there, but Umar scrambled well. But solid first round showing from Umar. Now, round 2 is where we kind of saw a couple cracks in Umar's game, right? Bautista went for a knee. Umar dipped his head down right into it and got dropped. That's not a great visual, right? If you want to be next for the title, if you're saying, I want the winner of Merab and Petr Yan, getting dropped like that is not a great visual. And fair play to him. He came back from it, dominated round 3. And I gave Umar all 3 rounds, even with the knockdown. But this is not a performance where I'm convinced he beats Merab, right? I already had Merab beating Umar in a rematch 3-2. After watching this, I'm probably more convinced Merab beats him in a rematch because Merab's pace in rounds 4 and 5 in the last fight was what broke Umar down. Umar was kind of breathing a bit heavy at the end of the Bautista fight. If I had to make a prediction, I think Merab 3-2s him again. And obviously we'll have to see how Merab looks against Yan. He's very active. He's fighting 4 times in 1 year. Maybe that wears him out a little bit, but assuming Merab is healthy, assuming Umar's healthy, I do believe this would be a title fight for early next year, around April, May. And I would have to go with Merab winning that fight. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts for the 3 main fights on the card. The whole Jon Jones and Alex Pereira situation. Obviously very unfortunate the way the main event ended with Aspinall-Gane, but you guys let me know who you'd pick in a rematch between Tom and Cyril. I'm kind of 50-50. Honestly, I actually probably would favor Cyril just because he looked good stuffing the takedowns, and on the feet he did look a lot sharper than Tom, but I think it's a true 50-50 fight in the rematch. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think about the card, who you'd favor in Jones Pereira and Aspinall-Gane. Like and subscribe the channel. I want to get to 1,000 really soon, hopefully by the end of the month. So I think we're about like 170 subscribers, 160 subscribers from there. So help me get there. But thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. But I'll catch you in the next one.